Hello everyone, tonight on the program, World Bank signs agreement with Ghana to release $200 million as additional funding support for the fight against COVID-19.
I'd like to thank the World Bank, the IDA and the team, the Minister of Finance and Minister of Health for their immense contribution and support, not only of combating the pandemic, but also furthering government's transformation agenda.
The announcement of additional funding comes as a new report by COVID Transparency and Accountability Project reveals possible misuse of Ghana's COVID-19 funds as a result of insufficient reporting system.
What we sought to do with this project is to find out how accountable government is being with COVID-19 fund disbursements. We need an audit report of each of the items in the COVID-19 project, who was awarded contracts for fumigation, testing and tracing.
Also tonight, Tourism Minister expresses concern about exorbitant hotel rates which are affecting domestic tourism.
Industry players and governments, we must find common grounds to ensure that we reduce the cost of hotels in this country. The cost is very large. We can't be competitive with this cost. Together with government, we must find ways to make Ghanaian hotels competitive.
This is Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for making a date. We will be right back with details. In our first story tonight, the World Bank has signed an agreement with the government for the release of some additional funds to fight against COVID-19. The $200 million will go a long way to help government procure additional COVID-19 vaccines to support the entire health system better manage the pandemic. There's more in the following report.
This is the second phase of the whole funding program by the World Bank to support Ghana under COVID-19 Emergency Preparedness and Response Project. This brings the total amount of funds advanced to Ghana under this initiative to $430 million. The objective of this project is to prevent, detect, and respond to the threats posed by COVID-19, as well as strengthen a national system for public health preparedness across the country. Speaking after the signing of the loan facility, Finance Minister Kenoforiata said this couldn't have come at a better time in helping government manage the pandemic.
Undoubtedly, government cannot do this alone. We need deeper engagements from multilateral partners to facilitate the provision of the requisite financial and technical support to invest in human capital, build physical infrastructure, and comprehensively tackle development challenges that inhibit the SDG goals being attained. At its very core, this will require the availability of bold, innovative financial support to ensure that critical interventions in response to COVID-19 are immediate and swift. The signing of this agreement today forms an essential part of the government's drive to build back better and greener. And clearly, I would like to thank the World Bank, the IDA and the team, the Minister of Finance and Minister of Health for their immense contribution and support, not only of combating the pandemic, but also furthering government's transformation agenda.
The World Bank Country Director Pierre Laporte, on his part, expressed the bank's commitment to support Ghana in these challenging times to stabilize the economy.
$1 million, and then a first additional financing of $130 million. So today, I'm pleased to be here to sign the second additional financing and to note and remind everyone that this specific project is focusing mostly on the vaccines, whilst the first two projects supported mostly the initial efforts to put in place the systems and the support to fight the immediate impact. We are now moving to a next phase, and we think that this is extremely important for Ghana because the resources will go to supporting the whole system to be better prepared to deliver vaccines to the people, which is critical in the recovery of the health system itself, to build resilience of the population. And also, at the same time, to note that we continue to support the economic recovery through the Ghana Economic Transformation and Tourism Development Projects, among others. Minister, we are not health experts, both you and I, but we all know that vaccine delivery is a very delicate, sensitive, and complex issue. So, you know, we need to be mindful as we go forward that this will not be an easy endeavor as we move to implement this project.
The World Bank has maintained that this facility, together with other programs, should help Ghana put the economy on a strong footing going forward.
While speak of COVID-19 funding, a research by the COVID Transparency and Accountability Project (CTAP) on Ghana has shown a possible misuse of COVID-19 funds due to an inefficient reporting system. The study, championed by civic organization Budgets Ghana, was to determine how transparent and accountable government has been on the usage of monies intended to tackle the impact of the pandemic. Refifi Nkum is country lead of Budgets Ghana, and he has been highlighting aspects of the report.
Basically, what we sought to do with this project is to find out how accountable government is being with COVID-19 fund disbursements, given the huge inflows that came in from international partners and some monies that were internally generated to tackle the pandemic. And what we were looking out for is the e-procurement platform to include information on the procurement plans from each of the institutions that were charged with tackling the pandemic. We were expected to see contract package descriptions. We expected to see estimated costs for each of the packages, the procurement plans the procurement methods that were used. But this information is missing on the public procurement website, which makes it difficult to ascertain exactly which companies were awarded the contracts, and it makes accountability quite difficult. What we had to do was go down onto the ground and speak to healthcare professionals. Some reported having had adequate access to PPEs and the other relief packages, but there are some complaints. So what helps, what makes it very easy is to open up and publish those details, the procurement plans at the local government level, to enable institutions like ours to easily track the spending. Other countries have done so. We know that even though there were emergency procurement engaged, it's still useful for us to have access to these procurement plans at this time, given the fact that it's already been a year. And it's especially important right now because we are going into the third wave, and people want to know how much we spent to handle the first and second waves and how generally the battle against the pandemic is going. So this is the information that we are looking for. We need an audit report of each of the items in the COVID-19 project, who was awarded contracts for fumigation, testing and tracing, how are healthcare workers being supported, how are the local governments being supported in sensitizing people about the public, especially with the vaccination drives as well. These are the questions that we're interested in and that the project seeks to foster. We're going to have a phase 2 that's going to specifically focus on vaccinations.
All right, we're still with the pandemic a bit longer because the rollout of a vaccination campaign by governments has instilled confidence in traveling and has thus stimulated demand. Some airlines have announced more traveling options within West and Central Africa, despite the surge in the new Delta variant across the globe. But as this plays out, questions arise over the safety of air travel in these times. But aviation expert Sean MENDIS tells Joy Business Ghana's robust testing regime will help the country keep the new COVID-19 variant under control.
There are a lot of places in the world which are taking very different approaches to it. Some places like Dubai, I was in Dubai last week and I was very impressed by the steps that they're taking there in terms of testing and maintaining protocols and compliance with those. Other places are shutting down more. If you look at Australia, they're tightening up their border controls and so forth. But I think the key to this is you must have a robust strategy. And this is something I've been saying for many months now. Ghana did a very good job on implementing a border control strategy when borders reopened in September last year. The two-phase testing protocol, where you test someone before departure and you test them again on arrival, has proven to be very successful in keeping imported cases out of Ghana. And that's no different with the Delta variant. If you look at Ghana, which is one of the most open countries in the world right now, the number of cases that are imported, despite being open to the US, to the UK, to parts of Africa and everywhere else, are not that high. And that is showing that the border controls are effective, that they are working, that they are not importing cases. And as long as you're able to have the confidence in that, you can continue to travel, you can continue to open up the economy without the fear of the Delta variant taking over the community circulation.
Tourism Minister Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim Awal has expressed concern about the high cost of hotel charges in the country, saying it is denying many Ghanaians preventing them from using hotels, thus affecting local tourism. He says the tourism ministry is bent on developing the domestic tourism space to generate significant revenue for the country. He was speaking at the launch of the 10th year anniversary of Movenpick Ambassador Hotel.
The tourism minister is worried that the high cost of hotel charges will impede the growth of local tourism, which has the ability to become a top earner for the nation. He, however, believes the hotel industry is critical in unlocking the growth of local tourism and therefore wants the industry and government to dialogue to help reduce costs of hotels.
As a ministry, as governments, we embarked on a domestic tourism drive to bring a lot of people, Ghanaians, to go around. I want to urge you and to entreat you that help us get Ghanaians to around. To achieve this, hotel industry players and governments, we must find common ground to ensure that we reduce the cost of hotels in this country. The cost is multiplied. We can't be competitive with this cost. Together with government, we must find ways to make Ghanaian hotels competitive so that when people come from all over the world, Ghana will be their preferential choice.
General Manager of Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, Deborah Lee-Ann Siverson, said Ghana is famed for its genuine and warm hospitality, and these values are what define the Movenpick brand, which include demonstrating quality and care for guests. She further said her outfit is intimately involved in the lives of guests and have a long-term commitment to sustainability and environmental awareness.
Ghana is framed for its genuine and warm hospitality. And being my first time in Ghana, I've witnessed and experienced the undeniable, genuine and authentic hospitalities through the personalities of my staff, our artists. Their values are what defines the Movenpick brand, demonstrating quality, reliability, care for the guests, partners, as well as for fellow artists. And doing all of this with a personal touch. We are proud to have obtained sustainable excellence over the last 10 years, serving as a market leader with standards others aspire to attain, and being driven to obtain higher heights.
The theme for the anniversary is Doing the Ordinary in Extraordinary Ways, 10 years and beyond. The celebrations will continue till November.
All right, you're watching Business Live. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about poultry feed. Some poultry farmers expressing concern about the scarcity of poultry feed as well as the prices. We'll have that report coming up right after this break. And feed millet. And I'll also look at some international business stories. Back home, the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association and the Ghana Feed Millers Association are calling on the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to sign a memorandum of understanding with feed millers to help address scarcity and spike in prices of maize and poultry feed on the market. Both associations believe such an MOU will guarantee at least 50% supply of poultry feed. Now, even though the ministry has given poultry farmers a green light to import, they say the cost of importing maize is exorbitant compared with buying it on the local market. Yes, President of the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association, Michael Nyakwampim, speaking to us in this report. President of the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association, Michael Nyakwampim, said a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and feed millers will enable consistent supply of poultry feed. He made the call amid a list of problems poultry farmers are facing during a press conference to highlight their challenges.
We are willing and able to sustain the poultry industry as farmers, but the situation we find ourselves in currently is seriously inhibiting any strategy that we are adopting. We cannot sit idly by to let the investment made by our members and that of other poultry farmers to go waste. We, on behalf of all the actors in the poultry industry, are requesting that. We are appealing to the government to encourage ADB Bank to partner with private businessmen and women to help import maize specifically for the poultry industry. We are also appealing to the government to look again at the issue of broiler importation. MOUs should be signed with feed millers in the medium term to supply at least 50% of the total maize requirements of feed mills through the outgrowers and aggregators. The mother ministry, which is the Food and Agriculture Ministry, should facilitate the signing of an MOU with the wheat millers for consistent supply of at least 50% of the total requirements of the feed mills at a mutually agreed price.
Mr. Nyakwampim also indicated that the Agricultural Development Bank is not supportive, hence members of the association are reluctant to apply for loans from the bank.
ADB, the interest rate is quite high, and some of the conditions, I think they were asking for about 120% collateral. So how many people will have that ability to do 120% collateral? So it's not for want of trying. Discussions have gone on, but these are the challenges out here. That's why we've come out.
Meanwhile, a poultry farmer, Evelyn Saki, told Joy Business the association is not doing much to address challenges of poultry farmers.
Now I want to buy about 20 bags. They said they will give me only 10 bags. They don't have, so they have to ration it. They have to give me 10, they have to give somebody 2. So it means every 5-6 days you have to come back. If I buy the 20 bags, maybe it will take me about 2 weeks before I will come back. But now 5-6 days, because you don't have to wait till the feed got finished before you come back. The government should come to their aid, or they themselves should import. They have to do it themselves because it's a private company. They have to go to the farms, the tamale, or they have to go and buy. They can't sit here and say, "Bro, no."
So you feel that the association is not trying enough for you?
It's a private company.
So they are not trying enough for you?
Yes, they have to go to the farmers and go and buy.
All right, away from that, let's talk about the upcoming mid-year review of the budget. Now, Finance Minister Ken Fuyata is likely to present a supplementary budget to Parliament by the end of this month. This will be in addition to the mid-year review of estimates that will be tabled before the House for approval during the same period. But will this result in additional spending? Well, that's the question my colleague Charles Aite posed economist Professor Peter QUARTEY. Here is his response.
I mean, every step you take, you need to step back and take stock or evaluate whatever you have. And I believe the supplementary budget is serving that purpose. So we don't witness significant deviations from targets. If there are new or unexpected revenue that has come in since the budget was read, of course, that has to be made public to Parliament, to the Ghanaian public. If there are new expenditures that are very eminent and have to be incurred, Parliament have to know, the Ghanaian people, the good people of Ghana will have to know. So I think the supplementary budget is not a bad thing. We don't want to deviate too much from our estimates or our targets. And hopefully, by end of the year, we would have some decent numbers to show, given that we correct any mistake or any deviations as early as possible.
But Prof, how do you also respond to concerns that the supplementary budget could increase the debt stock?
Well, it may or may not, because I don't think it will be very unusual for, given where we find ourselves, given the debt GDP ratio, for a finance minister to come and ask for more approvals in terms of loans when we have not increased our revenue generation capacity. So it goes hand in hand. We might want to see more revenue generated. Then, of course, if we're going to borrow or going to increase our debt stock, then there could be justification. Of course, justification for how much we're going to borrow and what we're going to use it for. If it's going to be invested, then of course, there's every room for accommodation. But if it's going to be used for consumption, then I believe Parliament would scrutinize this and of course, indicate their displeasure.
The thoughts of economist Professor Peter QUARTEY there. The Finance Ministry has submitted the list of board members for the National Development Bank to the Bank of Ghana for approval. Joy Business understands this was done earlier this month. But is the National Development Bank set to take off at the end of this month? Well, George Rafe has been looking into that.
We understand this is one of the hurdles that government has to clear to help the bank take off, as expected, by the end of this month. Sources say when the board members are approved, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, would then officially name the person that would chair the board. He is also expected to do this in consultation with the development partners and also appoint an interim chief executive from these board members to run the institution for now. Joy Business understands that government has subjected itself to strict international guidelines when it came to the nomination of these board members and even recruiting some persons to run the institution on an interim basis. This is expected to help deal with any undue political interference with the bank. The Finance Ministry itself believes that this might be one of the best approach to ensure that for the first time the bank stands the test of time. The board will also have some strong institutional representation from the World Bank and the German development institution, that is KfW. According to the Finance Ministry and the international consultants brought on board, they have put in place the necessary structures to aid the smooth takeoff of the bank from the end of this month. Government is hoping to use the National Development Bank to enhance long-term lending to commercial banks and some sectors in the economy.
All right, that story ending Business Live tonight. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can read more about that CTAP report, which has been talking about the fact that we have an inefficient reporting system and that could possibly result in a misuse of COVID-19 funds. Also, Telecom Risks and Rewards Index, Ghana slips 2 places to 5th position. More on that and other news stories on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Powell. Thanks for watching. We're back same time tomorrow.